Hello there, my name is Mackie, and the reason you clicked on this video is probably because you want to learn more about Ghost of Tabor. And before we get right into it, there is definitely one thing you need to know about this certain VR game. It's not going to cradle you in slowly, it's just going to plop you in the middle of the game, say good luck, and leave. This is tough, and trust me, I found it tough as well. It's a bit like Into the Radius with multiplayer and less apocalypse. You'll know what I mean if you've played the game. Just so you know, if you're new to the VR format, I'd recommend picking something else like Pavlov or Contractors, learning how VR guns work, and then play this game, unless you're a military veteran. Anyway, now that's been said, let's get right into it. Alright, let's start with what this game actually is about. Now, Ghost of Tabor is an action-packed gunplay adventure game, where you explore a variety of different maps, searching for different kinds of loot, good or bad, to sell when you get back to home base. Now, how do you get back to home base? You extract from the map at little exfil points across the zone. Now, do this in an amount of time and you will safely get back to your house, and you can sell all your loot and put it on your wall at home. But if you don't, you're probably either dead or you'll just get kicked from the match. Now, other players explore the map as well, and they are probably the deadliest thing. Alongside NPCs, who aren't really that bad, players will most likely be as good, worse, or better than you, and, well, they are usually quite kitted. You can come in with whatever guns you want from your safe house, so you can bring in a kitted M4 or a PPSH like I have in most of this gameplay. Now, it really depends on what you bring and what armor you wear to survive. If you bring absolutely nothing, you're just going to have to find stuff along the way. But if you bring a load of kit, you're mostly just coming to kill players, get your rank up, and also just for a bit of fun. Now sure, this looting and gun combat sounds really cool, but is it in-depth and realistic enough to most player standards? Well, yes, it pretty much is. For an early access game, Ghost of Tabor is extremely realistic in multiple ways. Ways you check your magazine's capacity of ammunition is by shaking it, and you get vibrations to tell you how much. The way you get more ammunition is either by buying it, like in most games, or pouring brass and pouring brass and something else. Ammunition powder. Yeah. Pouring that into a machine, selecting your caliber, and making a box to load into your mag, which is, yeah, it sounds kind of tedious, but it's actually extremely satisfying when it's done. And the ways you loot is, well, by finding crates across the map, or killing players, like I did here, to get their loot. Next, we have looting. The looting system is widely in depth, with multiple different things you can find. You can usually split these into 5 categories: guns, body armor, ammunition, sellables, and also combat equipment. Now, the guns are common in gun crates, which are the bigger crates you can find across the map. Body armor and backpacks are found in backpacks and, well, body armor crates respectively. And combat equipment is usually found in smaller, more tan or green crates. These usually quite small, like I said. Ammunition is usually found in these ammo boxes that you will see me opening throughout the thing. They are dark camo green and, well, they hold ammunition boxes. And finally, we have sellables, which are found, well, throughout pretty much every crate except for backpack crates. And these things, well, you can sell when you get back to your safe house to make money, so you can sell stuff in the so you can buy stuff in the market and, well, sell stuff in the market. They'll also be introducing trading in the future, which is something that will be very important, and that will make sellables even more valuable. So yes, we've got all these awesome features and cool things that make the game fun, but the game can't be amazing without good map design, and I'll tell you, the maps in Ghost of Tabor are pretty fun, and they all have different niches to them to make them enjoyable. Now, there are 3 maps currently in Ghost of Tabor: Island of Tabor, which is what you see the gameplay on; Missile Silo, which is, well, a missile silo, mainly more close quarters combat based. It's also where most of the sweaty players are. And Matkamist is, well, a Russian city, which reminds me of Paris for some reason. If you played it, you'd get what I mean. But it's more street fast-paced and dense with cars, and it's really open. Not as open as Island, but not as closed and dense as the Missile Silo. I'm now going to go through each and every one of these maps and list their pros and cons. Let's start with Island. Arguably my favourite map, and the one I play the most. It's extremely good for looting, not as good for combat though, as players are mainly few and far between on this map, as it's huge. There are around 6 main points of interest: the lighthouse, the prison, which you see me in at the moment, the research centre, which I was in before, the storage area, which I started my raid in, the beach house, which is, well, a beach house near a sandy shore, and the radio tower, which is, well, a radio tower located on the far corner of the map, and it's pretty small, but it gets the job done for looting. This map, like I said, is good for looting, bad for players, but what's its awesome niche, like I said the maps have? This one has an airdrop, which is, well, an airdrop with extremely good looting. Now, this extremely good loot is hard to find, as airdrops are pretty rare to happen, and I'm actually hunting for one right now, which is a pretty big coincidence. Now, every player on the map will usually push towards the airdrop, no matter what gear they have. Like, I have the best gun in the game here, and I'm still going for an airdrop instead of just normally exfil. Now, like I said, it's amazing loot, and also extremely fun for combat, and if you hear that plane flying across the map, you and your teammate immediately look up into the sky and think, we've got to get to that thing. Now, it's also amazing for funny moments, as you can spray through the crate to do damage to people on the inside, which is a very useful technique. That also reminds me, vaults are located in Ghost of Tabor. There is one on each map. Well, no. There is 2 on Map Camiste, 1 on Island, 1 on Missile Silo. 4 overall vaults. And how do you access these? Well, 3 of them, on Island, Silo, and Map Camiste, are used by finding purple keycards, extremely rare items that you barely find. And well, you go to the vault, you open it with the purple keycard, and you loot up inside. It's basically like an airdrop, but the loot is even better. And well, it makes a very loud noise that can be heard across the location while opening them, so be careful inside. And if you're wondering, wait a minute, what's the 4th vault located in Map Camiste? This one is different. This is known as the House of Scott, which was recently added to make Map Camiste even cooler, and it's also its island's niche. Now, the way you access the House of Scott, well, I forgot to tell you that on Missile Silo, in one of the parts of the map, located on this, like, beer crate or something, I don't know, beer barrel, you can rarely find a skull sitting on there, which is worth a lot of money, but if you keep it, head to Map Camiste, locate the House of Scott, shoot the lock guarding the building, go down, place the skull on this random skeleton's head, on this random skeleton's neck, a massive door will slide open, letting you inside, and then you will use your purple keycard to access this vault. Now, the House of Scott vault is highly dangerous, as you'll usually find one person a game, or one team a game, trying to get all the loot, as it's very popular, as the loot is basically what you find in an airdrop or a vault, times that by 2. As it's very rewarding because of its high danger. Now we're closing into the end of the video, but there's still a few things that I need to mention. Now, there is a lot more systems in the works of the game, as Ghost of Tabor is early access, and a lot more features that I forgot to mention in this video, as there's so much to pack into one review on this game. Now, I'm going to go over a few things Ghost of Tabor needs to improve it, but I'm also going to quickly mention some of the features that I forgot to, well, tell you about. Now, number 1, we have the bleeding system, which, well, if you get shot by a heavy caliber or a light caliber, you can either start light bleeding or heavy bleeding every so often. And to fix this, well, you need bandages. And to find bandages, you find them in medical crates across the map, open these things up, get the bandage, wrap it around your wrist, it'll stop the bleeding. And another thing is the weight system. There's a lot of weight systems in VR games, especially survival ones. This one is quite in depth, a bit like Into the Radiuses. And if you've known my channel for a long time, you know I have to mention Into the Radius in at least every single video I make. But this weight system depends on how many guns, how much armor, how much equipment you store in your backpack, all of that. to, well, how fast you move. There is also a massive amount of guns that, well, you can't really mention every gun in the game, but there is also a few other things like bosses where you can receive special guns. You can find a boss on Night Island, which is a special mode that I forgot to mention, which is Island but darker. You can check the video out on my channel. It's a long form video, it's around 6 minutes, and I found something very special. But yes, it's Island but dark, and head over to the Church of Fish, which is on the map on Island, and there is a pretty small chance of a boss to spawn. Kill him and his goons, these are NPCs by the way, and you'll receive some cool guns and some cool armour. And also on the missile silo there's a boss called Kurtek, who's a lot stronger than the fish boss, but you receive a lot better loot from him. Also known, and there is also an auto SKS, which is perfection. Now, what would the final rating of the game be? So I'm going to be rating it out of 5 stars. And well, I'm going to say it, it's going to be a 4.3. Now, sure, that's a massive rating for a new game, but I also see so much potential in Ghost of Tabor, and it's definitely worth picking up early, so in the future, when it's the biggest VR game ever, you can say, I played that game 6 years ago. Now, yeah, it's a bold statement to say it is the future of VR, but it's Tarkov mixed with DayZ, mixed with Into the Radius, mixed with the best games ever. And you aren't going to get bored of it anytime soon, as wipes happen every few months that keep the game interesting and keep you on your toes throughout it all. So yes, buy it.